These 5 money rules are what allowed me to make $100 million by the age of 30. They're the mental rules that separate rich thinking from broke thinking and separate the top 1% from the bottom 1% of earners. And I genuinely believe if you can follow these 5 rules, you will create a rich mindset that will attract real wealth into your life. The first rule is to realize that there is already an infinite amount of money out there for everyone. You just have to want it and be ready to take it. So the mindset shift is that you aren't taking anything. There is no limitation on money, and there is more than enough for anyone who is willing to pursue it. To be honest, there are so many rich and successful people out there. Whenever I go shopping, whenever I've been to the south of France or into Greece and watch the people who show up in these stores and buy designer clothes like it's nothing, I realize that it is quite literally a way that they view money. They do not feel guilty about pursuing wealth. They understand that there is always more money to be made and they can create it. And if you have the mindset of being able to create it, instead of thinking that you're pursuing money for selfish reasons or like you're taking it from somebody else, you are going to actually attract the type of money that you want to have in your life. Because what's so important to understand is wealth creation cannot coincide with scarcity. You have to maintain a mindset about growth and possibility and understanding that it is possible for you. In fact, money flows towards people who provide value, which means that becoming wealthier just means contributing more. When I was 19 years old, I was giving all of my time in the summers to going to downtown Portland, feeding homeless people underneath bridges. I thought that this was how I was going to make an impact on the world. Natalie, with one-to-one relationships, was going to be able to help all of these people. Until a mentor of mine asked me this question: what is the bigger impact that you want to make? And when I thought about that, I wanted to be able to help millions of people. And me, myself, giving my time under bridges was only going to be able to help dozens. So this started to get me thinking about the fact that in order to be able to make a bigger impact, you actually have to have resources. And there's no scarcity of resources if you know how to generate money. So once you've tackled your fear of making money, the next rule is to remove your fears around spending money. Figure out what your immediate reactions are to spending money. This is what I'm going to ask you to do. Pull out your phone, create a spreadsheet, or just write this down on a piece of paper. List out in the first column what it is that you want to buy or invest in. Then in the next column, write down your reaction to spending that money. And then in the next column, write down how you could positively reframe those thoughts. So for instance, if you want to invest in a course, you're excited about this course, you see how it could benefit you, but instead of actually making the investment, you self-talk your way out of it and you start to think, well, what if my husband's gonna be mad at me for spending this money? How could you positively reframe that to where your thought instead is, my husband is going to be so proud of the money I'm going to earn from making this investment in this course. See what we did there? We listed what we wanted, we listed the fear around it, and then the positive reframe, which is going to make you more bought in to actually using the course. I'll never forget 7 years ago when I was at this conference and I was sitting in the front row. I was so excited to be there. It was one of the first conferences I'd ever been to. And this woman came on stage and she was amazing in talking about all of her marketing tactics. And at the end of her presentation, she made an offer. She said that there was a $2,500 offer for her marketing course for every single playbook that she used in order to grow her brand. For a split second, I was excited and motivated to make this purchase. And instead of staying excited and taking the action to make the investment, I got freaked out because I thought, what would Brandon think? Maybe I should use his money. I don't know if I want to invest my money because I made less money, a lot less money than him at the time. What if it sounds silly to him that I use this money for this investment? And then just decided, nope, I'm not going to take any action, and I walked away. That is what kept me broke. It is a fixed mindset that you have to ask other people. You have to get some sort of validation instead of you knowing that this is what you want to do, that you are going to make the most of it, and you can spend the money and it is going to come back to you. The third money rule is if you want to have money, you have to learn about money. I'm not here telling you that you should just go out and spend money on ridiculous things. No. You need to have goals and have clear understanding of what you want to use the money for and identify those beliefs, but then you have to learn about money. Learning about money is something that you should never stop doing. It starts with picking up super simple books like Money for Dummies, Taxes for Dummies. But my strong recommendation is that you continue to learn about money and you continue to read at least one book a year about something in money, something financially related that you don't currently understand. Because if you want to build wealth, life, you actually have to confront what you don't know about money. You have to understand where to put your money. Once you make it, how does it grow without you actually being the one that's putting your energy and effort into making it grow? There are so many different ways for you to do that. And most people never get rich because they never bother to actually learn how it works. So here's my tip. If you actually want to learn about money, this is what you do. You start turning on the news and you listen to people talk about money. At first, you're going to have no idea what they're saying. But what you do is every time they say a word that you don't understand, like compounding interest or the inflation rate, you look it up. And so you start to learn the language of money because you're making it a habit to actually fill in your knowledge gaps as soon as you notice them. The fourth rule of money is to invest, not save. So many people have this backwards, this broke money mindset of not buying Starbucks, penny pinching, cutting coupons, and restricting your spending will not make you a millionaire. Just think about this. If you were to look at a financial statement in a business and you wanted the business to make $1 million, you wouldn't go to the expense line and just start cutting all of the expenses. Why? Because the expenses don't actually drive the growth of the revenue. What moves the growth is actually selling something. It is in the creation of products and services that then somebody sells in order to generate revenue. Creating $1 million business has nothing to do with cutting your expenses. So if you take that and think about this in your own life and in your own income, you spending less money isn't going to make you a millionaire any faster. It's actually a waste of time. And instead of you penny pinching and thinking about all the ways that you can save money, if you spent the majority of your time, think with 90% of your time only focused on how do I make more money? When you wake up in the morning, you ask yourself, how am I making more money today? If you don't have an answer to that, you should not spend the 90% of your day just going about the motions. You should figure out what do you have to do in order to make more money. And for most people, this is learning a new skill that has something to do with marketing and sales, because similar to a business, the revenue line, you have to market something and then sell it in order to increase revenue. Inside your own skill set, inside your own income statement, what do you have to add to yourself that is creating production so that you can grow your income and not just focus on your expenses? We spend way too much time focusing on expenses and not enough time actually focused on the growth. I used to only buy things on sale. When I would go into a store, I would beeline to the very back of the store where the sales section was. And I would just pick through any of the things that were on sale, and I would buy multiple things because it made me feel good that I was able to buy multiple things. But then I realized one day that I didn't actually buy anything I wanted. I just bought it because it was on sale. And this broke mindset was such an epiphany to me because I didn't even realize that I didn't buy things that I wanted. It was more so like I was just checking something off the list and feeling good that I was able to buy a lot of things. And so now I only buy things that I like. And if it happens to be more expensive than the things that are on sale, I'm okay with that. But I don't have this thought process that I have to constrict and I have to save, and I can only use the coupons and the gift cards and the sale item things. The fifth money rule and the most important money rule is to know how much money you actually want. But it first starts with actually picking the dollar amount. So this is what I would recommend you do. Similar to step 2, I want you to pull out a piece of paper or open up your phone, create a spreadsheet, and I want you to write down all of the financial targets that you have. Now, financial targets do sound like a net worth target, how much cash you have in your bank account, but it also sounds like the amount of money you want to pay for a house, the amount of money you want to pay for your cars, the amount of money you want to spend on glam every month, or at Sephora every month, or your clothes budget. Can you imagine a world where you actually have a shoe budget or a purse budget? This is what I want you to write down in the first column. Then I want you to write down how much these things actually cost. And then I want you to write down how much money you would need to make per month in order for you to afford this lifestyle. This is a very simple equation because what you can look at then is how much money do you want to be making? Okay, great. How much money are you actually making? Pull up your bank account. I know it's not fun. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not interesting. And sometimes it's actually a little hard to do. But pull it up so that you actually understand how much money you take home every single month compared to how much money you want to make. And then understand what the delta is. There's a difference between today and the future. So in order to get to the future, you have to start thinking with What do I need to learn and what am I not doing right now in order to make this amount of money? That is all you have to figure out, and it is so freaking simple. One of my hacks for getting out of my head as soon as I create this list is I get in proximity to the things that I want. This has been so successful for me. When I wanted to be able to have a pair of Louboutin shoes before I could afford them, I went into the Christian Louboutin store. I actually walked in the store and I tried on the shoes and I was like, oh, I like these. Oh, I don't like these. Oh, this is what I would want my closet to be filled with one day. And I got in proximity to the thing. Because the more you write down something that you want, and then you start to separate yourself from, okay, I'm here today, and this thing that I want is in the future, and I don't really know how I'm gonna get there, it feels hard and it feels heavy. And to be honest, I used to get sad about it. Instead, pretend as if you could actually have those things. If you pretended like you could have those things, ideally you just get close to those things and you start to understand, like, what do they feel like? If you want to buy a new car, instead of just dreaming about this car that you've never seen outside of maybe an Instagram ad or some sort of promotion, go test drive the freaking car. Get close to it, because the closer that you get to it, it becomes real to you. And that is this whole broke versus rich money mindset. These things are real. You can have them. They are available to somebody on this planet, and somebody is going out there and doing what it takes to get there. That person could be you. And the more real it is, and the more you actually believe that it's possible because you're experiencing it, the higher the likelihood that you're going to take the actions that are required to get there. If you want to learn more about leaving your 9 to 5 and creating a $1 million net worth, check out this video right here.